Hello friends, welcome to first chapter of plus one political science. In this chapter we will do meaning, scope and significance of political science. This video is for English medium students. Political science as a subject is very interesting and very useful subject. It helps student in many ways that we will study in its significance. So let's get started. Father of political science, the Greek philosopher, the great Greek philosopher, in fact, Aristotle, who lived between 384 to 322 BC or 384 to 322 BC, who's been a great scientist and father of so many other things, also is known as the father of political science. Basically, he had written a book named Politics on the comparative study of city states. So, on the basis of that, his theories that he gave is still pioneer in the field of political science, so he is considered as the father of political science. So, a bit introduction about Aristotle. The great Greek political philosopher Aristotle was the first thinker to use the term politics, and the term politics is derived from the Greek word polis, which means city state. City state को हिंदी में हम कहेंगे नगर राज, यानी कि छोटे छोटे राज हुआ करते थे. The way we had in our country before independence more than 650 small princely states. For example, if you talk about in the context of Punjab, Kapurthala, Jind, Nabha, Malerkotla, Patiala, these were princely states. So, in ancient times, the word politics was basically used for the term political science. The term politics is derived from the Greek word polis, which means the city state. In the ancient Greece, there were small city states, and politics therefore meant to be in ancient Greece the science of the city state, those small city states, which were known as polis, and pertaining to the state and government. It was pertaining to the state and government, related to the study of state and government. In place of city state, we have now big territorial states nowadays, and we call it nation states, big states. So we study these big territorial nation states, and the subject which study about the government and the state and the behavior of the people is known as political science. Etymological definition is there. In Greek, the word politics has its origin in the ancient Greek. All of the cities in the ancient Greece, such as Athens, Sparta, and Corinth, were referred to as city states, and the Greek word for a city state was polis. From this picture, you can see that there are small states, right? Name has been given: Megara, Athens, Sparta, Argos, Corinth. So this kind of city states existed during those days. Now, the meaning and the definition of political science. About the meaning and definition of political science, there are basically two kinds of viewpoint or two viewpoints. One is traditional viewpoint and another one is modern viewpoint. Traditional viewpoint and modern viewpoint. Okay, we can consider it number one and number two. This is old one, this is new one. Meaning and definition of political science traditional viewpoint. Gardner, Bluntschli, Paul Janet, Seeley, Leacock, Willoughby, Gattel, Lasky are the supporter of traditional viewpoint. And according to Gardner, political science begins and ends with state. Beginning and ending is with the state. Gardner says so, right? Leacock says political science deals with government. So Gardner says about state, he talks about this government, and according to traditional viewpoint, political science is the science of state and government. Science of state and government. Let's move to the meaning and definition of political science. Modern viewpoint. Harold Laswell, David Easton, Robert Dahl, Almond Powell, Eric Rowe, etc. are the supporters of modern viewpoint. According to Robert Dahl, political analysis deals with the power, rule, and authority. So here it deals with power, rule, and authority, according to Dahl. Laswell says politics is the study of shaping and sharing of power. What is it? Shaping and sharing of power. Politics is the study of कौन shape करता है और share करता है power. It is about that. So according to modern viewpoint, political science is a process or an activity which includes activities like struggle for power, use of influence, authoritative allocation of the values. It means political science क्या include करता है? It is a process. ये process है और activity है जो शामिल करता है struggle for power. People want to have power, so they struggle for it. Use of influence. They want to use their influence. It means behavioral aspects. Authoritative allocations are done. So authoritative allocations of values means rules are framed and implemented. So all these come in this category. So modern viewpoint makes it quite vast. In brief, we can say that political science is such a social science which is concerned with the state and the government and the political activities of the individual which he does while living in the state. So in a nutshell, we can say that from a traditional viewpoint we get to know that it deals with state and government, and from modern viewpoint we understand that it includes all sort of formal, informal and behavioral aspect of the people which anyway influence the power sharing, right, or behave or influence the activities of the state or the political activities of the state, right? So at the end we can conclude that political science deal with the power, influence and authority and allocations of goods and values. It also studies formal, informal organizations which anyway influence it. So let's move further. Scope of political science. Political science studies the past. Number one is political science studies the past, present and future of state. It studies about the past of the state, what it was in the past, what it is in the present, and what kind of state will be in future. Second is political science is the study of international relation, international organization, international laws. The way we individuals live in a society, same way states, a country lives in international arena, international environment, where all the states are like individuals, and so there are international, they have relations as individuals have, so the countries have relations among themselves. So we study those international relations. International organizations are there, for example UNO, SARC, ILO, mutual monetary fund, etc., World Bank. So these are organizations we study, international organization and other non-governmental organization also, and international laws also. There are certain international laws that states keep in mind while interacting with each other. So all these come in the scope of political science. Next is political science studies the organization of government, its organs and its different forms. It also studies organization of the government, what kind of government it has, different organs, for example executive, legislature and judiciary, right, in different forms, kind of forms. It is presidential form of government, is parliamentary form of government, federal government, monarchical government, authoritative government, what kind of government it is. So all these political science study. Then political science is the study of the political parties and the pressure groups. In democracy, political parties play important role. There are one party system, two party system and multi-party system. So we study all about the parties also. Along with that, pressure groups. There are different kind of groups which work for themselves and their own benefits, or those pressure groups put pressure on the government for their own benefit, and it includes those pressure groups also in the scope of political science, right? Next is, in political science we study various kinds of theories and ideologies. For example, individualism, socialism, communism, fascism, Gandhism, liberalism, right, Marxism, communism, and then this is Ambedkarism these days. Here we listen in Indian context. So these ideologies are studied, and these ideologies give basically the knowledge about the way of operation of different countries and what sort of planning they follow and what kind of ideologies they opt. They are liberalist, they are leftist, communist, Gandhist. So there are people who are following different ideologies, and this way it is very important to study different ideologies and theories. Next point is, political science is the study of various controversies and conflicts taking place in the state and the process concerned with their solutions. So in a state there are many controversies and conflicts, and political science tries to solve those controversies and conflicts. And next point is the study of rights and duties. It studies the rights and duties of individual also. In a society, in a state, people have different rights. Along with the rights, people have duties also. So they have to the political science forms actually a base for the people to know about their rights and duties. So it is included in the scope of political science. Next is study of political culture and political socialization. So political culture and political socialization is basically how the people get to know about their system, their political system, and how they get socialized with the current political scenario. So this is how they study political culture also and get socialized also. Then we have study of constitutional system. Study of constitutional system is basically uh, every country has its own constitutions, the basic law is traditions as per the need and requirement of its country, and so it studies that constitutional system also. Study of behavior of the individual. Individual behavior is also important part of the scope of political science, because it is individual who actually um, influence the system in different ways. So people of a country have different thinking and accordingly have different needs and requirements, so accordingly they try to influence the system for their own benefit. So it comes in the preview of the scope of political science. So moving to the next significance of the study of political science. What is the significance of study of political science? Political science is a very important subject, for it creates ideal citizens, it gives knowledge about the state, it gives knowledge about the government, it gives knowledge about the different system of government, it also help in the success of democracy, it also help people to know about their rights, about their duties too. It is helpful in giving knowledge about the political ideologies and selection of political ideologies, right? So it is very helpful. It is helpful even in the formation of political parties, and it helps in solving the problem of a country, right? So there are many benefits and advantages and of this of the studying of political science. Let's go through it. First point is political science gives us knowledge about the origin, development, and aims of the state. Yes, that's right. It tells us about the origin, development, and aims of state. Second point is it gives us knowledge about the organization, organs, and kinds of the government which express and implements the will of the state. So yes, it tells us what kind of state and what sort of government is operating in the country. Next it is essential for understanding international affairs. Yeah, if you have knowledge about the political science, you come to know about the different political systems and how they operate internationally. So next point is political science gives us knowledge about the rights and duties of individual. Yes, we come to know about our rights and duties. So we have certain rights in our constitutions and certain duties also. So we come to know about that. Then it gives us knowledge about international organizations. International organization, for example, UNO, Labor Organization, SARC, ASEAN, such organizations which are operating internationally to get benefits and to work for their own benefit, and also for the benefit of the people of the world. Next, it gives us knowledge about the relationship between man and the state. Yes, how there is a relationship between the man and state, it also gives knowledge. Helpful for the success of democracy. Yes, it creates ideal citizens, it provides knowledge about the various political ideologies, and helpful in the formation of healthy political parties also. Along with this, it is helpful for world peace. It also help in the increasing of toleration among the people. It gives knowledge of different political terms also, and it also gives knowledge about how rules are framed, implemented, and educated. It is useful for the students also, as today's students are tomorrow's nation builder. And along with this, it is helpful in creating new concept. So at the end concluding, we can say that it is a very important subject, right? Political science is more important than the study of any other subject. It broadens the outlook of an individual and enables him to understand day-to-day problems. All this results in making an individual a perfect citizen, which is the need of the time. So this was a brief video on the first chapter of political science plus one, that is meaning, scope and significance of political science. And let's have a few questions right now. At the end, word politics has been derived from Latin word polis. It is true or false? Latin word polis. So it is not Latin word, it is Greek word. So here it would be false, because Greek word polis से आया, तो Latin हम नहीं कहेंगे. Otherwise answer would have been true. Dash is known as the father of political science. So here Aristotle is known as the father of political science. Write down the definition of political science given by Gardner. So what Gardner says? Gardner says that political science begins and ends with the state. Very easy definition, right? Next, write down the two names of the modern writer of the political science. So modern, keep in mind David Easton, Robert Edald, so Charles Merriam. Two names are sufficient: David Easton, Robert Edald. Write down four subjects which come under the scope of political science. So four subject comes under the scope of political science. That number one is studies the state. It studies the government, right? It studies the behavior of the man. It studies the different ideologies. It studies the conflicts and controversies. It studies, right, and the legislature process, decision making process. It studies the political parties, studies leadership. So there are so many points that you can say. Write down the four advantages of studying political science. So there are many advantages of political science that just we did. For example, number one, it creates an ideal citizen. It gives knowledge about the state and the government. It is helpful in the success of democracy. It gives knowledge about our rights and duties. And it is also helpful in the selection of political ideologies, right? It is helpful in the formation of political parties. It is helpful in the solving the problem of country. So this way you could write many points. So thank you. This was the first chapter in brief, right? Hope you would like it. Do share, like, right, and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.